how did you approach Magnus's decision, and when were you sure that his decision was final? Did you think about the decision too much going into the event and during the event as well? And do you feel like Magnus's decision was fair?
Well, fair. I mean, it's his choice. You can't tell him you have to do something.
I guess, let me rephrase that. Fair to let you guys play the tournament first and then tell you the decision.
Well, I think he said it in a strange way, which was that I'll play against Alireza. Which to me is strange, because if you don't want to play a World Championship match, I fully understand,
But did he say that? Did he actually name Alireza? Or?
Yeah, that's kind of what he said. Yeah, he didn't say definitively, like, I won't play against anyone, but he was like, I probably won't play unless it's Firouzja.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, okay, it would be fun to play against Firouzja. I mean, he's an interesting player. He's the leader of the new generation. But he's not like stronger than any of the other players in the tournament. I mean,
that was shown
everyone,
the candidates.
Yeah, but just generally, I mean, of course, we have like rises and falls, and we've seen a lot of players 2800, 2780, 2800 again. Like, all these players are capable at that level. We might see Duda in 6 months, 2800, right? So it's not like Alireza was head and shoulders above everyone else, and that's, I think, pretty clear now, right? Of course, he's a very strong player, and I think anyone who won the candidates would be worthy of a match against Magnus, like, would be a worthy competitor. But to say, like, I'll only play against him, it's like, but why?
Right.
I didn't really understand it. So that's why I didn't take what he was saying so much to heart, because I thought it kind of sounds like he's messing with people, That's just the way I took it. If he had said, I just don't want to play the match, and that's that, then we'd be like, okay, maybe he really is sick and tired of playing a 12-game, 14-game series against the same person. I understand it can get a bit monotonous, and maybe he wants to spearhead a change of format, as he said, like, incorporate more rapid, more blitz, whatever. Again, I don't have like any special insight besides what he's said publicly. But I also understand, you were there, and you know how stressful the match is, where any mistake is like the difference between being world champion or...
Dude, I grew white hair after that World Championship match. That was just insane. And I think we all lost at least 10 pounds during the event. You probably lost way more. Like, I was watching you every single day going into the championship rounds, and I was feeling, and I'm sure Rustam was feeling, the same type of emotions that I was, which was just immense pressure. And I was just like wondering, how does this guy feel right now in these moments? And I can only imagine it was like 10 times the amount of pressure that I was feeling. So yeah, it just takes a toll on you. As the champion as well, you're risking a lot every single time you put your championship on the line. So I understand his decision. At the same time, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe my eyes. I woke up, we were just supposed to do a commentary in St. Louis for the candidates. I think it was maybe before round 7 or something along those lines. And we just found out, I think Alejandro was the one that told me that, yeah, Magnus is out. It's a completely a new feeling in the chess world. Everybody was completely shocked at that point. It just felt like it was a historical moment. And I couldn't believe it for the initial day, but later on I started understanding his kind of train of thought. Obviously the pressure that you were mentioning, and not wanting to deal with that. Also, you're basically just losing like 6 months out of your life on preparation for every single match. You're secluding yourself from society for like 6 months alongside your training partners, so that takes a toll on anybody.
Well, it's also a matter of perspective. Are you seeing it as like chess preparation devoted to one specific goal, which it is?
Yeah.
But it's also general chess preparation to enhance yourself as a player. But the guy is multiple time world champion. He's over 30 now. He's 32 years old, I think.
Yeah.
He's probably feels like he's accomplished basically everything there is to accomplish, and that's true. And so he doesn't have to prove himself. So the question is, does he care so much about the extra payday? And I guess he's not hurting for the money. So he probably doesn't factor that in so much.
Mm.
So maybe he thinks, well, why do I have to play the same guy again when I already proved that I beat him in a match? But actually, the question of pressure is an interesting one more generally.
Yeah.
Because I've heard this like theory espoused by some people who kind of know the chess world very well, and they think that chess players are psychopaths.
Sure.
Because they can handle the pressure.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking about it
For
because,
the most part.
like, is that a sign that something is different about, like, if you can handle that level of pressure, is that a sign that there's something different about you as a person? And we see this not just in chess, but other sports, you know, like boxers who go in and they know that they have to
Any top level sport,
yeah,
right?
exactly. That not just the amount of like prestige is on the line, the money is on the line, and also you're in front of the eyes of the world, and they're going to judge you depending on they're going to judge you either well if you prove you're a champion, or they're going to judge you very harshly if you don't succeed or lose the match or the tournament, whatever it is.
That's an interesting angle. Now you're talking about pressure, and you could make the case that, let's say, as a chess player, the pressure is more prominent because it's a mental game. You always have to think about the game. Now, at the same time, for a boxing match, sure, it's a lot of mental, but also it's also physical, right? So, but at the same time, for a boxing match, you also have hundreds of millions of eyes watching you. Maybe for a world championship match, we're still more or less, the chess is still, it feels like a niche game at least, right? From a spectator's point of view. So which one adds more pressure? I guess my question is the amount of money that you're making, the amount of money that it's on the line, the eyes watching you, or is it just this mental aspect that chess definitely has in comparison to other sports?
Well, I don't think it's money so much, because of course the money is nice and it's good to secure a good living and be comfortable.
Right.
But getting your name in the history books, that's a big thing for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And to prove that you're one of the greatest in the history of something, whether it be chess or tennis or boxing. And although, let's say, tennis or boxing are physical sports, I mean, the mental aspect behind them is so huge.
It's immense, yeah.
It's the same way that people sometimes underestimate the physical side of chess. I think you can also underestimate the mental side, the mental toughness that the great champions like in tennis. I mean, like you watch Nadal and you're like, this guy never gives up, no matter what. Because people could give up when they're exhausted, when they're injured, but the guy pretty much never will give up a single point, and that's amazing. That's what makes the champions, of course.
No, absolutely. I mean, he's down like 2 sets and a game, and he still manages to come back against the best. It's just ridiculous. Yeah, that's basically what champions are made of.